Public hearing of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Public Works into the proposed Department of Climate Change, Energy, the Environment and Water Davis Station critical infrastructure works. In accordance with the committee's resolution, this hearing will be broadcast on the Parliament's website, and the proof and official transcripts of proceedings will be published on the Parliament's website. I also remind members of the media who may be present or listening on the web of the need to fairly and accurately report the proceedings of the committee. My name is Graham Perrott. I'm the chair of the committee, MP for Moreton in Brisbane, but coming to you today from the CPO in Sydney. And I don't think we have the deputy chair with us at the moment because he is travelling, but I might go, like all good chairs, we'll start with Queensland first and then work our way around the country in a clockwise fashion.
Well, thank you. Chair, I'm Karen Andrews. I'm the federal member for McPherson on the Gold Coast.
New South Wales first.
Good morning, Maria Kovacic, Senator for New South Wales.
And then that little bit of federal territory in the middle of New South Wales.
Chair, I'm not sure that was clockwise, but Dave Smith, the member for Bain.
Okay, and Secretary, I don't think we have anyone else on at the moment. Okay, I now welcome representatives from the Department of Climate Change, Energy, the Environment and Water to give evidence. For the Hansard record, would you please each state your full name and the capacity in which you appear?
Thank you, Chair. Philip Boxall, Branch Head, Assets and Technology Branch, Australian Antarctic Division.
Rachel Harris, Branch Head of Financial Services Branch in the Department of Climate Change, Energy, the Environment and Water.
Russell Forster, Operations Director for Bouygues Construction Australia, who is the non-owner participant contractor in the Alliance.
Matthew Wershing, Director Infrastructure Delivery with the Australian Antarctic Division in Hobart.
Callum Buecker, acting as independent estimator for the Australian Antarctic Division.
Thank you. Although the committee does not require you to give evidence under oath, I should advise you that these hearings are formal proceedings of the Parliament. Consequently, they warrant the same respect as proceedings of the Parliament itself. Giving false or misleading evidence is a serious matter and may be regarded as contempt of Parliament. Mr Boxall, would you care to make some brief introductory remarks before we proceed to questions?
Yes, thank you, Chair.
Away you go. Yep.
As we begin, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their continuing connection to land, waters and community. We pay our respects to all First Nations people and their culture, to their elders past, present and emerging. Australia has a strong and proud national interest in Antarctica, including to preserve our sovereignty over the Australian Antarctic Territory, maintaining Antarctica's freedom from militarisation, to protect the unique Antarctic environment, to conduct world-class scientific research, and to promote economic benefits for Australia and Hobart as an Antarctic gateway city. The Department of Climate Change, Energy, the Environment and Water leads, coordinates and delivers the whole of government Australian Antarctic program, which includes the operation of three year-round research stations on the Antarctic continent, those being Casey, Mawson and Davis. The year-round operation of Davis Research Station is a key element of Australia's presence and scientific activities within the Australian Antarctic Territory. The station requires major refurbishment, and the Department's Australian Antarctic Division has established the Antarctic Infrastructure Renewal Program to deliver the Davis critical infrastructure works. While all Antarctic stations are ageing and require increased maintenance to ensure safety of expeditioners and security of station operations, the water and power security of Davis Station is the highest priority to ensure its ongoing operation. Davis Station was first built in 1957, and since this time has undergone one major upgrade in the 1980s, which is largely what remains operational today. The station consists of 91 beds and is designed to accommodate 91 expeditioners in summer and 35 in winter. However, current age of existing infrastructure, including the main powerhouse, water production facilities and mechanical workshop, limits populations by 20%. The Davis critical infrastructure works will deliver new mechanical systems currently held in separate buildings of various ages beyond serviceable life and combine them into one state-of-the-art two-storey building that will have significantly higher thermal and sustainability ratings compared to the older buildings. The new buildings will provide station personnel with significant improvement in power and water security, working facilities and workplace health and safety, while increasing the station's capacity with an operational design life of 50 years. It has been designed to allow for future redevelopment of the Davis station and the ability to incorporate renewable energy sources. The proposed activity comprises the construction and operation of a new sea ice deployable seawater intake and shore-based pump house, a new reverse osmosis plant for the production of potable water, a new ground-based two-storey building which will become a utilities building incorporating a new main powerhouse and a vehicle workshop, and the refurbishment of existing combined mechanical and trades workshop. The overall capital cost of the proposed works is $251 million excluding GST, including risk escalation and all AAD support costs. Subject to parliamentary approval, construction is expected to commence in late 2025 and be completed by mid-2030. Through a competitive procurement process, the department is ready to form a program alliance between world-class construction contractors to deliver the works through the Antarctic Infrastructure Renewal Program. Working together with shared values and goals, we can achieve an inclusive, equitable, diverse and enjoyable working environment which builds capability in cold climate engineering and construction within Australia and strengthens our scientific capabilities in the preservation and understanding of East Antarctica. Thank you for the opportunity to present. That concludes my opening statement, and departmental witnesses are ready to answer any questions from the committee.
Thanks very much, Mr. Boxall, and for the earlier video presentation, which was a great orientation for the work that you do and where you do so. I might go in that same order for questions, and I'll go to Mr. Smith first.
Thanks, Chair. Just a simple one. I think in the submission there was obviously a hope that works would be potentially approved or ready to proceed in early 2025. Obviously that was a little optimistic. What's the consequence for timeframes for the works and potentially for costs for obviously works not proceeding till potentially a bit later in this year, or is there capacity maybe to catch up any gaps subject to parliamentary approval?
Thank you, Mr. Smith. So I'm happy to answer that in the first part, then I might throw to Mr. Wershing online. We still remain very, very hopeful that we're on track for this year. So we're here today, and depending on how the committee determines where we go from here, we still have an opportunity if we receive endorsement in the next few months. We'll still be on track in relation to the delivery of the program to start this year. Yeah. If that gets pushed for whatever reason, we do have the capacity to potentially do components of it or to extend it into next year. But our preference is obviously to begin the program this year, simply due to the fact that it is hard to do work in Antarctica. We have to have equipment repositioned months before the ship leaves. We have to comply with customs. We have to comply with biosecurity and with shipping requirements. And also, we have to ensure that we have it in our integrated planning to ensure that we can actually support it. All that has been done to the nth degree, and we feel we're in a very, very good position to support this program. And that is beginning the next season, the 25-26 season. Should we have to delay, we can delay, and we can still adjust the program. In relation to the other components of your question, I might throw to Mr. Wershing online, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Mr. Boxall. Yeah, so we're comfortable with where the program is at the moment, and as Mr. Boxall said, we've still got we've entered into some early work, so we're progressing with design and those pieces that we can do without making the extensive commitment we need to for it until we've been through this process. And in light of that, you know, any delay that means we miss a season effectively has a 12-month delay on us. And, you know, that risk has been considered through the program and is built in not only to the program but also into the dollars that have been captured in the total program. The likelihood of us missing a major component over that 6-year period is a moderate one and one that we have to take very seriously. You know, it won't take much for that to happen from a weather perspective or one of those things that Mr. Boxall spoke to, not exactly going to plan, but we have a lot of controls in place to monitor, measure them, and then we have allowed for that in within our program and within the budget that's been set for the project as well.
And if I can add, please, Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I think some of the members have had the opportunity to head to Antarctica. It is an extreme environment in which to work. So we plan very, very well, but always we have what we call the A factor, which is the Antarctic factor. You can never really quite predict what can occur. We can be asked to help out other nations and so forth, but in regards to planning for this project, I think we're in, certainly in my time, the best possible position in regards to having the integrated planning and having the looking ahead in years in relation to making sure we can support this moving forward, because it is such an important project to the Australian government.
Well, to the world, perhaps even Mr. Boxall, if I could be. I mean, that is the point of the program, isn't it? To much of the research is
correct.
Letting us know what's ahead. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Is that okay, Mr. Smith?
That's fine, Chair. I mean, the only thing I'd note is obviously there may be an unavoidable delay because of the life of this Parliament, but it's good that it appears to be factored in.
So just before I go to Ms. Andrews, Mr. Forster, could you just clarify Boyd's role in terms of coordinating? Because it's not the same as many of the other projects that we encounter.
Yes, I understand. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Boyd Construction is a global construction entity. We participated in the procurement process and have arrived at this point where we're still standing. Boyd undertakes similar projects to this around the world. For the record, Boyd built the Chernobyl sarcophagus with a partner in Europe. So technically challenging projects are the core and culture of the company. So we bring the global expertise, the global resources necessary to assist AAD in this project. We feel that...
So would that be... So would you work with the subcontractor, like as a facilitator, or do you sort of explain to someone this is how you work in minus 40 degrees, or I just wanted to get that interplay between, we've got a tender process where I imagine not many Australian companies work in Antarctica, or even Thredbo for that matter, you know. So I was just interested in your
yes.
Boyd's expertise.
So
and role alongside the tenderers.
Yeah, so the tender's been completed and the project format, the contractual format, is an alliance where the contractor, the designers and AAD form an integrated team to deliver the project. The expertise that Boyd is bringing is the planning, the resourcing, the global procurement, the construction skills to enable the team, the alliance, to deliver the project.
Okay, so I'm just putting it back in, you know, shopping centre terms. Are you the head contractor
yes.
or the... Yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. All right, we'll go to Ms. Andrews.
Thank you very much. I'd actually like to start by understanding the accommodation that's currently there at Davison, specifically go to the fact that the accommodation that is there can actually accommodate 91 in summer. less in winter, but there's currently less there. Is that because of water or power considerations or both? And is there any work at all that is proposed at any stage to the accommodation facilities?
Sorry?
I'll jump in there if you like, Mr.
Yep,
Boxall.
thank you.
Yes, there's 90, I think there's actually 90 beds, not 91. We just did an audit this week for next week, but there are 8 double rooms that are currently being renovated into single rooms. So by the end of this winter period, so by August, we should be up to 98 beds available at Davis. Currently, we haven't been filling the station. Part of that is to ensure a level of redundancy in our planning process so that where we end up with additional stayovers or layovers between people transfers and stuff, we don't run out of capacity on station. But another contributing factor has certainly been our water capacity at Davis Station. Since the buildings were constructed, the level of comfort that we'd like to provide and meet some minimum health standards has required us to increase water capacity to be able to support that number of expeditioners. Last year we completed a third 600,000 litre water tank that has gone a long way to solving that water issue. And internally, the AAD Antarctic Division is also delivering the first of a new reverse osmosis plant, which is due to be commissioned next summer, which takes water from a high saline tarn, which is where we obtain all our drinking water from. Part of this package of work is a second reverse osmosis plant to provide a level of redundancy we haven't previously had when we're so reliant on the reverse osmosis plants for water, with a seawater intake, which will give us another opportunity to produce water all year round. The tarn currently only allows us to produce water in the summer, normally mid-January through to the end of March. It's currently producing water at the moment, just made over 1 million litres so far this season. And then the new part of this package of work will be further resilience within our water that would allow and the reduction of any of those restrictions. And the work has been staged in a way that that's delivered to ensure we can have the capacity on station needed to fully deliver the program.
So in the notes in front of me, it actually says that whilst the capacity is 91 or 90, now and about to be 98, but let's go with the 91 figure, it says that because of the poor condition of the infrastructure, there's only accommodation, or only 69 can be there in summer, less in winter. So that's just a bit of a difference between 91 and 69. So I'm trying to understand what that difference is and how these proposals here are going to remedy that so that you can get potentially very close to 30 by the looks of it, 30 additional people there.
Yes, as I mentioned, that additional 600,000 litre storage capacity which came online at the end of last season contributes a long way to securing that. So we go from 1.2 million litres of water now to 1.8 million litres of water, which
but that's
allows...
already, sorry.
No, you're right.
I understood that, but I'm trying to understand from the submission that we have, which says that you're maxed out at 69, that work has already been done. So is that not reflected in the 69 that are there? So more people could actually go there now than the 69 that's in the paper? Because I'm really trying to understand what is in this project that is going to lead to an extra about 30 people, understanding that you've got 8 double rooms that are about to be going to single, so that increases by potentially 8, I suppose.
Yeah, so that...
sorry, Mr. Wershing, could you talk us through the water specifically as well as the other things?
Yeah. So the sea intake contributes, changes the game for us there because it allows us to produce water during winter. So at the moment, we're limited to producing water in summer from mid-January to the end of March, and that's it. So then we have to wait until that period again. And when we have that big population increase in October, which is when we insert October, November, when we insert our summers, that's normally when we start to see a struggle to maintain the water levels until the reverse osmosis plant can start up in January. By having the C intake and new reverse and a redundancy in the reverse osmosis, that will allow us to produce water effectively all year round. Largely, we would look to just start that up, however, while there's still sea ice, so we can access the water. So we'd go out, drill a hole through the sea ice and insert a pump to be able to pump back to the reverse osmosis. And that would allow us to fill all our water capacity before the start of the summer period and reduces any restrictions that we need to have on population limit.
You good, Ms Sanders? Does that clarify?
Well, no, really. Without wanting to obsess over this in particular, I'm still looking for some more information. I mean, some of those works have been done now. So how many people can actually be accommodated at this point in time? Is it 69?
It depends on the level.
Can you talk us through is it like a country town? Is it, you're bathing with a cloth or,
Yeah, that's exactly right, Mr. Parrott. Depending on the conditions, we'll place water restrictions in place if we need to add more people in, where we'll limit showers to, 2-3 minute showers a week or every second day, depending on people's activities. Obviously, people with messier jobs, be it some of our mechanics or plumbers working in waste management and those sorts of things, we still allow for more regular showers and those types of things. And that's always the case, no matter how much water we're generally producing. As a risk mitigation strategy at the moment, to not add additional burden on station, we have limited the numbers to 69. However, at certain times of the year, at resupply, and again, when we picked up our current summers just recently, that station population would have went up to around 75. And that's just part of managing the station risk. And by implementing this work, it allows us to limit some of that. Some other considerations are whether we, if we need to be able to ensure that we can maintain a higher level of population, part of our resupply, we will send down additional fresh water if we're unable to produce it at the right time. So that's part of managing the station as a whole.
So at the completion of this project, the capacity will be 98 people that can be... Yep. Okay. All right. Thank you, Chair.
And sorry, just to revisit what Ms Andrews was asking, so that, can you just explain that, so that fresh water in the tarn, is it, or is that reverse osmosis water? Just look us through the process again in terms of when it's ice, when it's water, when it's salt water, when it's...
Yep. No, that's fine. Currently, we produce water between January and March from a high saline tarn, which goes through an existing reverse osmosis plant, which is at beyond its design life.
So is it being fed by gravity or by being pumped from the ocean, or what?
No, so we pump out of the tarn once it unfreezes and straight into our reverse osmosis plant.
Got it. Okay, so it's not quite potable in the tarn. You've just got to take some.
It's not potable at all. It's high salted, high mineral, high other contaminants that we remove through the reverse osmosis process.
Okay, I guess I just had a naive view of ice in Antarctica and.
Yeah, there's not a lot of snow around Davis in the summer, and one of our biggest challenges is creating water, and that's Davis's biggest challenge. Our other stations are fortunate enough to have freshwater melt lakes that we're able to get water from, but Davis does not have that capability for where it's located.
All right. Senator Kovacic.
Thank you. My question is similar to earlier in the briefing, but just to get a sort of a broader understanding around the 50-year lifespan of the current project, and which are the sort of key and critical elements, particularly in relation to energy production, that this project will deliver, particularly given the climate-related challenges that you have in Antarctica, and that's quite interesting in relation to the water and obviously not having ice or snow in the summer and the creation of that water and how that sort of builds into the ongoing viability and sustainability of our work there.
So I'm happy to answer that, Senator. So sorry, the question is around the future planning. Is it beyond the life of this?
Yeah, very much around to ensure that the 50-year lifespan actually delivers, or the proposed 50-year lifespan is actually correct and actually delivers what you need over that period of time, given the particular climate conditions.
Yep. So thank you, Senator. So I think we mentioned earlier that. Part of the alliance, we've brought on world-leading designers and engineers and so forth, which is bringing a lot higher level of experience in regards to works that are being undertaken in other Antarctic areas, but also in the Arctic as well, which is quite similar. And when we think about some of the climates and other areas that where people work and habitate is similar areas like in northern Canada and so forth. So there's new technologies there which are going to be introduced in relation to design parameters. And also there's proven knowledge and experience in regards to some of those capabilities and technologies. So it's not a leap of faith. We do know that this equipment and so forth has already been tested, designed, and has proven to have the capacity to actually work in really extreme conditions and climates. So we believe we're in a very good position moving forward. Also, I think Mr. Worsing said earlier, in regards to the design moving forward, we're doing this in packages, and we're doing it in such a way that we can actually bring in additional infrastructure works which will hopefully seamlessly bolt on and link into the existing new round of works that we're actually introducing into Antarctica. So we're trying to make it as efficient and as fail-safe as possible. And importantly, we want to have similar systems at all the stations. At the moment, we probably have somewhat bespoke systems at 3 stations, which makes it interesting in relation to the management and maintenance. Ultimately, at the end of this infrastructure renewal program, we'll have like systems at all stations, which will be far more efficient, far more safer and far more easier in regards to the maintenance and the operation of moving forward. I hope that answers your question.
It does, and that inconsistency across the 3 different stations, that would mean that the skill sets of the individuals who are working on those are not transferable currently?
Yeah, correct. I don't know if I'd associate not transferable. It just makes it, it's more of a burden on the technical managers back in Australia to actually have a good handle on 3 different systems, for example. If you have the same like systems and so forth, that makes it far more efficient.
Okay, thank you. That's it for me, Chair.
Thanks, Senator. One final question from me, and it might be outside your brief, but in terms of interchangeability with our Indian scientists and Russian scientists and Chinese scientists, is there any steps towards that? I mean, they're not exactly Five Eyes partners or anything, but is there any, in terms of sharing resources in the most inhospitable place on Earth?
I think, Chair, as I mentioned before, the nature of the work in Antarctica is that nations do help one another out, and it's a very consultative and helpful environment, and we certainly hope it remains that way because it is for the benefit of everyone, and it is a very, very difficult environment in which to work and live, and every nation needs to help out other nations. In regards to scientific equipment, I'm not aware that we're housing any other nation's scientific equipment. If they did want to bring equipment and set it up, there would be an assessment process we would work through to allow that.
I meant if you need a diesel mechanic, can you get the Russian one, or it's not that sort of, you do tend to be in your own little...
Yeah, we do, but I mean, if there was a request put out, we'd put it through the right circles. I'm certain that they would try and assist as we would those other nations.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Final questions for anyone? If not, I thank you for your attendance here today. You'll be sent a copy of the transcript to make any corrections to the transcription, and I declare this public hearing closed.